Yay! Well, Cameron, thank you so much for coming into the studio. So happy to have you. I mean, honest to goodness, the school does a great job of like leading people towards success in their respective areas, and you are a prime example of this. I mean, interning with Spider-Man No Way Home, that is
Thank you.
insane. So how did you even like come about animation?
I would say so when I was a kid, I always loved animated films. And then, yeah, connecting the dots with how to make this a career, just seeing like the behind the scenes of how it comes to be with different animated films. You just kind of you see the process and you really find it something that you identify with and you can really see yourself being a part of.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's always a joy. I feel like it's just like, it's finding something that makes you light up. And to me, it really is the process of it is pretty magical to me. So it's like that has not faded. Like I still get little like chills and I'm like, how is that still there?
Yeah.
But I think it's a lifestyle that you can like continue to pursue.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
What would you kind of say like your process is when you animate?
Well, it depends on the shot. I feel like for character stuff, I mean, you take reference.
Yeah.
Which is pretty like embarrassing sometimes. You like and it's like, I mean, nobody's gonna see it unless you show them, which yeah, I mean it's helpful to see like somebody kind of, make a fool out of themselves just to like get the shot right,
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely it can put you out of your element because you have to play these like different types of characters.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh my gosh, that didn't even cross my mind when we were like making this outline, but you are, correct me if I'm wrong, but you're like literally in a suit.
No, yeah. So the motion capture, they that is definitely a big part of the industry with the suits and the
I didn't even like
ping pong.
I didn't even think about that. And then you like that just struck my memory.
Well, so I feel like that's more so Pixar still does it by hand where you take you shoot your reference and then you kind of decide which one tells the story best. And then you use that going into a software called Maya. I think we do have it in the lab, possibly. Yeah, so you have this character that starts out in like a T pose, like essentially like either like their hands up or their hands by their side. And then it's like a puppet almost. You have these like controls all over the character where you can bend, you can rotate things and translate things, and it's like XYZ coordinates. It's just 3D software. So you basically set keys that look like your reference, and then you from there you can kind of stylize it to be more like zippy or like more realistic, more natural. But they still do it by hand. I still do it by hand.
Yeah.
Pixar does that, DreamWorks does it. Any like feature film still does that. But the video games will usually do people in the suit, or like Avatar does people in the suit, or Planet of the Apes, I think, is people in suits. So yeah, but it sometimes it feels like you still have to do some like polish and some work on that too.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of information coming from those suits, and you're kind of like, okay, like, do we need every single thing? Like sometimes it doesn't look as, it looks like hyper natural. So there's definitely like people still do it by hand, but not like hand drawn. I mean, people still do hand drawn stuff. I'm not gonna. That's definitely.
So when you say like do it by hand, you're like basically sketching it out on like a computer.
Yes. So
then like using something to like move its arms and stuff.
Yeah. It's just like a puppet, and it's like it's bizarre, but it's you just try to make it feel like a living, breathing thing that's not controlled by you.
Yeah.
And so it's like it's definitely an art form, which is another reason why it's like a nice thing to just commit to. It's kind of like they describe it as like a sculpture sometimes, where you like are kind of carving out this performance, and like bit by bit you make it into what you want it to be. But it does take it takes some time, which is nice because feature films, you've got the time.
Yeah.
But video games are pretty like, it's a quick turnaround, I would say. like
Yeah.
for your shots and stuff. So that's when motion capture comes in.
Yeah. Do you implement your animations into like the video games? Like, do you kind of translate them, or do you just like create them and then let the producer or whatever put it in?
So for video games, it's crazy. My professor or mentor right now, because I'm animation mentor is still like this. It's a great program that I'm still a part of. It's people that are currently in the industry, so
Yeah.
it's like this professor or mentor that I have right now is working at Insomniac Games, and he's working on the new Wolverine movie, or
Oh my
sorry, not
gosh.
movie, the Wolverine video game.
Yeah.
But he does like in-game cinematics, so he'll do like little. I don't know. I'm not a huge gamer, to be honest. My gaming like days were more like Nintendo 64 and
Yeah.
with like Harvest Moon, which was like it's an old game, or like I don't know, Mario Party and stuff like that, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean it's a huge, huge industry. But for that, you basically have the animation and then you put it into this thing called Unreal Engine, and it's just like a game engine. It's like a things that have it so that a player can like turn around and it's responsive. Whereas like um in a movie, you know, you can't
Yeah.
like turn it around and see the other side of a Pixar film. Like it's very much like
Oh,
what
I
you
didn't even
see
think about
is like
that.
perfect, but everything else could be like insane
Yeah.
behind it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But for like a video game, you have to be able your computer has to be able to render it
Mhm.
in real time. So it has to get which for me, like what I typically see is like not rendered images. They're kind of like it's just not making the computer do a lot of work. So that's a whole different world where it's like you can kind of figure out how to make like the rendering world and like video games and things like that. You can be on more of the software side where it gets techie because there's a lot of like problem solving there too. So
Yeah.
it's like if you were like a software engineer, computer science major, you could totally have your like,
Yeah.
you know, field day in this
Yeah.
field. You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of
Mhm.
problems to like, but it's all for fun, which is great because it's like the end result is you get to play a game. Like that's not,
Exactly.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's a pretty good incentive. So
Yeah. So how would you say like having this, I mean, obviously you're super passionate about animation. How would
Yeah.
you say that impacts like not only like your work in your field, but also impacts someone else who actually has that true passion for a job?
ooh, I love that. I mean, I love when people are excited about something, whatever it is. It really doesn't matter, you know.
Yeah.
If somebody's really excited about something and they're like, I just find this interesting, and there's definitely people out there that will feel the same. I mean, it's a huge world, and like there's definitely like people that you know, it'll resonate with somebody. I feel like there's
Mhm.
like Discord. I don't know if y'all have this like channel or like that like app, but
Oh,
it's like
yeah,
such
yeah,
a nerdy like gamer app.
No.
But you can find a Discord channel for like everything and like the most specific things, you know. I feel like you'll find somebody that really, really likes this movie that you could never like talk to anyone about. And you're
Yeah.
like, what? Like, I
Mhm.
didn't know you like that. Um, but yeah, I think especially in this field, it's a close-knit community of like
Yeah.
people. Like, you know, when you meet somebody and you just like instantly you're like, whoa, you get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You click.
Yeah, it's like that, but it just happens a lot with these people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because y'all are all creatives.
All creatives, yeah, all taking a risk.
Mhm.
With like, you know, it could work out, it could not.
Yeah.
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 But you're gonna keep trying until it does. So like you have like faith in each other and like you're like supporting each other too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And like your work field, I mean, you have to be passionate about
Yeah.
what you're doing in order for it
Yeah.
to turn out like good. Like having pure passion means you're going to produce pure work. So
Yes.
like,
Yeah.
I don't know, just make sure you keep that light alive.
Yeah, yeah. And I do feel like whatever you're really excited about, you'll work like extra on, you know, just
Yeah.
because you're like, I really want this to be like what I have in my head.
Yeah.
So it's like, it doesn't really, I mean, they say you'll never work a day in your life. I don't know if that's true. Like, you definitely still work.
Yeah.
But it's like, I think finding something that's like worth working for is like the big thing. And it's like, it's, there's definitely easier paths to go down, but if it's easy, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's like, I don't know. It just doesn't, you're just more, I think you're more proud of yourself for like being honest with yourself and trying something different and like just like just going down that path. And I think the easy path is always there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
There's always an opt out.
there's
Yeah.
always an opt out. Yeah. But it's just so fun to like try. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's just so it's really rewarding to like think, okay, this was my biggest dream. And
I did it.
Yeah. Like don't leave anything, on the field or leave it all on the field.
Yeah.
Leave no crumbs.
That soccer
No
talk's coming
crumbs,
back
no
out.
And speaking of leaving it all on the field, you mentioned that you did soccer and student government.
Yeah.
What do you think that like kind of team environment led you to like what you did in college and like your future career paths?
Yeah, I think I love soccer. I played soccer because honestly I had an older sister and she's amazing at soccer and she was like my like role model and everything like that. I was okay at soccer. I wasn't the best. I was like very much like I was doing it because my friends were, and I did like it a lot, but I was like, you know what? Like I feel like this pull toward like art and like my more like artistic side. And so my senior year I joined SGA. Junior year I quit soccer and then senior year I joined SGA. And yeah, it was a great call for me just because and I took up art classes too.
Yeah.
And both of those were great just because it felt risky at the time because it was like, what am I going to do? My identity lies in this sport. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But at the same time, it was like, but I'm so much more than just one thing. Like I'm all of these things and I should really give that a shot. And I think, I mean, like a lot of my friends came from soccer and I'm still super close, like with them. Now they're having kids and stuff and it's nuts. But yeah, so I'm super close with everybody still. But yeah, I kind of found more of my like direction by just kind of making a decision to like go against,
the
what I
grain.
felt like was an expectation. And SGA was really pivotal. I would say Mr. Milton still can't call him John. I'm working on that.
No, honestly.
But yeah, it was huge because it like I feel like when you come out of high school, there's like so many directions you can take and so much of like who you are is like formed in these years.
Yeah.
And SGA was big on that because of like the like lesson. I don't know, just like your character. It's a character building thing. And then it's just like you just feel more responsible for your actions, I feel like.
Yeah, because
especially
you feel like people are like watching you kind
they're
of like.
it's like watching, but then also you're like, okay, I need to be honest with myself. Like every time like Mr. Milton asked me to come back for the camp, the retreat.
The retreat, yes.
Yeah, and I was graduating Auburn and I had taken one animation course because that was all that was offered there.
Yeah.
And I majored in marketing, minored in graphic design, and then took my animation course. Now you can minor in animation, which is cool. But yeah, so basically when I came back, I was like, I want to tell everybody like, here's what I wanted to do with my life. Like, but then I'm like, wait, if I'm not doing that, then how in the world am I going to be like a leader in anything? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which it doesn't mean to say you have to make it to a certain like job or certain, but just I feel like being honest with yourself and being like, this is what I value and this is what I'm like pursuing. I don't know. I always was like, you know, if I'm telling everybody else to like go and pursue your dreams, then it'd be nice to have
Yeah.
the resume
To
be
take your
like,
own advice. Yeah.
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 But yeah, I think all of it's great. I mean, SGA is a wonderful group, and all the books on leadership are definitely like,
Yeah.
it feels corny now, but then you're like, wait a minute, that's like in the back of my mind, and it's like,
Mhm.
okay, that actually
worked.
there's actually like situations where you
Yeah.
like come across, and you're like, I feel like I should like either say something or like be honest and not like push something under the rug, like even just like, you know, everything's like how to deal with problems, I feel like, and conflicts and stuff. Not even like, it's not even like social it's like we have a big issue, like you could be like, or like with a render time or something like that, where you're like, okay, this isn't gonna make it, and you've just got to be like, teaches you like maturity, and like we've got to handle this together, we've got a problem, but we you know, you kind of like expose all of it to like everybody, and you let it be like a communal, like, let's all come together to solve this, instead of like,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna do this on my own and blame other people for why I didn't go right. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Would you
Like,
say that in school, just kind of like translating from like
Yeah.
group project to like
Yes.
individual work?
it's all
Were
a group
you-
project.
Were you a group project person in middle school or like middle school, high school?
Yeah.
I'm curious.
Yes, I was, but I do like projects where I can do them like by myself. Like I feel like,
Yeah.
but I
Because I'm like a control freak. So
Yeah.
sometimes I'm like, oh my gosh,
They're
it's not
kinda
going to
like-
get done the way that I need it to get done, you know?
Kind of like fate. Like if you get put
Yeah.
with bad people in a group project that like don't want to do the work, like don't
Oh,
want to do
yeah.
anything, then it's kind of just like, well,
Yeah.
I'm kind of screwed. Now I have to do all the work for myself. So it kind
Yeah.
of just depends.
I would definitely take the, like if nobody was doing it, I would take the charge, but I'm not
Yeah.
gonna like, if somebody is you know,
Asserting themselves.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
If they're asserting, yes, like I'm definitely not the loudest voice in the room. Like with SGA, everybody was like super like, let's do this, and I was just kind of like, unless it's something that I'm really like passionate about, or like
which is
very
good.
opinionated
Yeah,
on,
silence
I'm gonna
speaks.
like let it, yeah.
Mhm.
But yeah, I feel like, you know, unless there was a problem, I wouldn't be like,
Exactly.
I need it my way.
Yeah,
I wish I
that's
was
a
like
great
that.
thing though, you know, because when you do like keep your thoughts to yourself most of the time, and then when you do like finally speak up, it's
Mhm.
like those words are going to count someone
Yeah.
much more than those who are
Yeah.
coming from the same person that speaks on every single topic. So
Yeah.
I wish I was like that because my opinions are very well known. Person. Everyone knows my opinions.
That's
No,
so
it's
funny.
good. It's good. I feel like sometimes people don't want to say, you know, what's on their mind.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I
sometimes
mean,
it's nice to.
We need both. You know what I mean? We need the
It's
person
that
who's not
balance.
afraid to speak up. And we also
Yeah.
need the person that's like, all right, I'm waiting for the right time so that I can actually push this when it needs to come through.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't really remember like a big group project. Like, I mean, it's so bad. I mean, the high school was 10 years ago. So middle school is forever ago. But, you know, but I can't really like think of like, I mean, I remember SGA being more of like the group activities, like designing what's on the flag for camp. It's the important things, you know.
The important
The
things.
important
Homecoming week.
things.
Homecoming week, yeah. I mean, I was always a part of the float building, but I just like the busy work. I just like to like stuff the tool. You know what I mean? Like I'd be there late, but like I wasn't coming up with the broader concept, because I feel like somebody, I don't know, like
You work your niche.
I do, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. But we had a lot of strong personalities. Like we had some great people. You know what I mean? So it's like I'm always there to like, I don't know. I want to be a support. I was middle school. I was voted most dependable
Okay.
for white
love
team.
that.
Yes.
That's sweet.
I always had the belts in my locker.
I love
always had the belts in your locker. That's
Yeah.
hilarious.
I was like a girl with like the watch coat, you know, belts in the locker. I'm like, what do you need?
what do you need?
I can hook you up.
$1 per hour.
Yeah, exactly. Running a business. This is a charity, but yeah.
That's hilarious. Oh my gosh. Do you have any other stories from middle school of you doing?
Gosh. I don't know. I was in band. I
Yeah.
played drums, percussion.
Okay.
Yeah.
I did not put those two together if I'm being completely honest.
I know. I watched Drumline when I was a kid. I don't know if
Yeah.
you've seen it. Nick
Oh,
Cannon's in it. It's a great one. It's an older one, but it's great. And I was like, I just think he's so cool and I want to be like that. But yeah, it was fun because it was like just a different thing to do. I don't know. It was just like I just kind of
Another creative.
wanted just to see.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like what was on like a lot of my friends were doing choir, like electric.
Wait, elective wheel. Electric wheel, y'all.
Electric.
We're getting shot today.
But yeah, I did band instead. But I don't know. I just thought it'd be interesting to like, I don't like go down to that creative path.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's like so many different like forms of art.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
I just
so many
the different things. Like there's music, there's
Oh yeah,
band,
and
there's
speaking of
choir, there's
music,
like
you worked with Apple Music on their
Apple Music,
playlist.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How does like because you would listen to the whole playlist, right?
Yeah,
To
well
form
they
the
do
thing?
update it
Mhm.
weekly, but they like have you have this playlist. What I was given was a the name of the playlist and the cover art for it. And then essentially I would recreate it in whatever software I needed to and then make it move in like a loopable 30-second clip. And but yeah, I would listen to the music to get the vibe, as they say. And then and then yeah, I would just animate it. I'd pitch it to Apple because at the time I was I worked at ILM, which is like the visual effects company, and they were Apple outsourced them to work on these playlist covers, and then from there I got the job at Apple. So it was kind of like a roundabout way that Apple hired me, and then yeah, I was mostly I didn't like get to meet any of the artists, but it's still like I got to animate Dolly Parton's hair. Like that was
Wait,
amazing.
what?
Yeah, it's like the illustrator had like her hairstyles as they transitioned through the years. And so I would like make it bounce and then like it would switch to another one and then bounce. And so it's like just a little loopable
That's so fun though.
Dolly Parton thing, which I was like, it's my ode to home, I guess.
Yeah.
Like the South.
What would your biggest piece of advice be for someone who has like a goal in mind, but they don't know how to reach it?
Ooh, definitely just like work backwards from it. Like, I listen to Mel Robbins a lot. I don't know if y'all have heard of her, but she's very big on like inspirational, goal oriented, like podcasts. She just came out with a new book too. I forgot what it's called. But anyways, it's like don't let them stop you or something. No, I think it's like let them. I think it's called Let Them. But anyways, with anything, it's like you kind of learn more about it. Like just learn more about like the steps that it takes to get there. And just I think just persistence. Like she calls it doing the reps. Like just persistence. Any like especially I feel like with like running and stuff like that. Cause like I used to run more than I do now, but with like training for a race, it's like it's definitely like you just do the reps every day. Or of like running, you know, you have like your schedule or you're like, I'll run 8 miles one day and then like 4 the next.
Because like track and cross country, we're very focused on like reps and stuff. Like
it's consistency.
It's not about like he says like quantity over quality. So like he wants us to like get like our quality over quantity the other day.
Wait a second. This is different than what everybody else told me.
He's gonna watch.
I was like, okay, this is cool.
What is she talking about?
A different take. I haven't heard this one before.
Quality over quantity. He wants us to get like some really good reps, and instead of being like 20 seconds off pace, like it's just putting in like the focus and like making sure you like hone in on those like
discipline, consistency.
Discipline.
There's a difference between just being consistent, like, all right, I'm going to do 5 reps every single day at, you know what I mean? And just do them versus I'm going to do 5 reps every single day at under a minute. You know what I mean? Like there's difference.
There's a difference. Yeah.
One's going to grow you and one's not.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, you really can't do the big stuff without doing like all the other parts. Yeah.
Well,
Which like physically you can't. You know what I mean? So that's like a nice thing that you're like, okay, if you're mentally trying to do this this fast, then it's like, or like, you know, without doing the smaller stuff, then it's like, why did you? Because sometimes I'd be like, you know, you're like, why can't I do this? You know, that, you know, you just get like caught up in it, but then you're like, it just takes time, you know?
Exactly. And speaking of you, like it taking time, I mean, you went to Auburn and did your marketing degree and minor in graphic design, but you found animation at the very end. Like, was it discouraging to not like know your path until the end?
Not really. I feel like my family's definitely, I mean, it would be amazing because I feel like the whole like 30 under 30 thing is pretty big. You know, you're like trying to make it when you're young and all this stuff. But I think I was so excited about it that I was like, I'm just going to do, like, I'm going to go to grad school and that's amazing that I can and I have the opportunity to do that. And it just kind of felt like a big, like, open door. You know what I mean? Like, it was just like, here's your
calling.
Here's your calling. Here's your, like, path to, like, do this. Because I think I tried to do more of the marketing stuff and it was just, like, just didn't feel, not clicking. And I was like, well, at least there is something that does click. More thankful and grateful that it,
Exactly.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think if I mean, now animation's a minor, so that would be really, really cool if I had done that.
Yeah. How did that work? Like not being able to like have like a degree or minor in animation and then still go into that field. Is it like a different process?
Well, I think a lot of people come into it from a different angle. There's a lot of some universities are really good for more TV oriented or like visual effects stuff. Some do have like Auburn just didn't have that. I don't know if Alabama has that or what. But yeah, it doesn't. It's honestly, it's really what's on your reel. Like if you have shown that you're able to do these things, some people are self-taught. Some people, you know, didn't go to university at all. Some people just go to animation mentor after high school, or after college, which is like, not an accredited. You know, like you're not going to get credits that transfer. You know what I mean? Like it's very much just a mentorship where people that are currently in the field are teaching you. So it's like you can't really like resume your way into a place. Like
it's more so
you've gotta it's more so you're real. It's like if you've shown like wherever you want to go, show us that you can do that and then we'll let you in because it's like we know that you already can do that.
Exactly.
Yeah. So it's like, if you want to work at Pixar, you got to show them Pixar quality prior to getting in.
Wow, so it's like a little audition. And then back to the kind of like your anime class, not anime, animation. That'd be cool. But it was taught by Jamie
Wheelis. Yes. Yeah, he's great. He's wonderful. He's huge in the animation program. He does a lot more like work. Like he teaches high school students now, like not only Oak Mountain but other I think like 8 other high schools.
Yeah.
And then he also has his own animation studio. And I got to work with him on the Iron Bowl. He recruited me for the Obby. He made an animated short film for the Iron Bowl 2 years ago when it was in Auburn.
Yeah.
And so I got to animate Obby like flying through the like this little time capsule thing.
Oh, that's so cool. Yeah.
It it was like my first bigger animation thing.
Yeah.
So it's cool that he was able to like give me the opportunity. I mean, it was amazing that he thought of me and like I definitely owe a lot of my career to him because he's like he worked at ILM, which was where I got my first job.
Yeah.
And he's a legend. He animated Yoda and Star Wars. My favorite, what really got me was he animated Davy Jones and Pirates of the Caribbean, like the second.
So cool.
And
that is so
I love
cool.
Pirates of the Caribbean. so much. It's like I was like, this is
You're like freaking out. You're like, what?
Yeah, it was just so cool. So I think I was just so stoked, and I was like, if I go down this path, like, who knows what'll happen? It's the excitement of like, the mystery.
Yeah. Exactly. Well, that's so awesome that you get to do something you're so passionate about. Thank you so much for coming in and just like filling us in.
Yeah.
I mean, you put my knowledge to the roof about innovation. I came in and I was like, I hope I know enough. I'm not sure. So,
it was great. Well, thank y'all so much for having me. It's an honor.
Thank you.
To be here.
Let's go. We killed that.